Okay, so this is a bit of a sudden stream. I just showed up like 10 minutes ago. But we will be immediately beginning the Division 2 small final match between XOXO and Team ARRO, which is short for Argentum Ross. And we'll be headed straight into the warm-ups on the first map, which is Whiplash by Focus, and we'll get to introducing the lineup and the maps super quickly. Hello, Engel. Lovely to see you tonight. And I guess during the 45 seconds we still have left of warm-up, we need to do a lightning round of introductions. Welcome everybody to the sorry, not even the sixth, the 7th, 8th place match in the 2025 Spring Nascar Cup, the small final of Division 2, contested between Team XOXO with Vamos Dakar, Andrew, Dopamine, Bling, and Engel, a real eclectic mix, against Team Argentum Ross ARRO, a worldwide mix of Miraco, Gigasun, FastXZ, Star 140, and Supersonic. So, what we have here today is a match between, I'm going to be quite honest, that has so much star power for a Division 2 7th, 8th place match. In the SNC, quality is everywhere. Quality is everywhere, and you can expect quality in every match you watch, and this one will be no different. So, to cut a very long story short, the first map, Whiplash by Focus, a map characterized by the extreme risks players will have to take in order to drive competitive times on it. So, you see here this right-hander, really tempted to touch the Rammsteins, really tempted to try and push as much as possible to get a lot of speed for the rest of the lap, which is relatively simple up until this 180. But that invites colossal risk. This is a team that you will see through all 4 maps this evening. But on this one, it is particularly acute, since the players will be trying to push all throughout to gain a material pace advantage. Start of lap 2, no different. We see Gigasun here crashing against the wall, entirely possible. Taking just enough Rammstein, trying to hit this corner at full speed. All 4 players navigated, but as you see from Dopamine, you can gain 1, 2, even 3/10 of a second by taking this corner perfectly, but in doing so you might end up losing the whole round. How these players navigate this risky equation is really going to decide action on this first map. And it remains to be seen which lineups these teams will begin with, as Dopamine, obviously the elephant in the room, a SNC multi-time winner, a PTC multi-time winner, and generally the player to beat, and we will see if he will be driving at his optimum pace, whether ARRO really have a player who's capable of standing up to him, or whether it will in fact be the Dopamine show again, just in a different division than normally expected. Is the stream dead? Can anybody in the chat just quickly check in that you hear me and see everything? Seems like somebody's reporting stream issues. Not entirely sure if that's due to me or that was a different stream failing. But again, very happy to see you actually in pretty big numbers, considering there is a Division 1 Grand Final going on at the same time. And I'm really looking forward to see what this match has to bring to the table. We will leave that action to them. We will let the boys enjoy that show. But now we will focus on Team XOXO and Team Argentum Ross. They try to navigate what is just a perilous map. Like on every single map, you have the possibility to take strong risks. You really have the possibility to push heavily and try to find a few extra tenths of a second that might be just what your team needs to get the extra point they need to win the round. The penalty for failure is losing 6 seconds. It seems like a simple equation that safe driving is the answer, but this is SNC Week 5. This is 3 versus 3 match play. You cannot have a single weak player here. And I'm looking forward to see which 6 players will take to the field for map number 1, Whiplash by Focus, in this 7th to 8th place match. Warm-up comes to an end. We will see We have Vamos, Engel, and Dopamine for Team XOXO, and we will see who the third player is. This is just a spectator bug. We will see. Who will be joining? Miraco and Supersonic at the start line of this map. The players immediately go towards the perilous first two corners. The sixth player on the field will be Miraco, Supersonic, and Gigasan, two FKX players, guest stars of ARRO, versus Vamos, Engel, and Dopamine already breaks off to a massive lead. You can see already a big gap of half a second opening up from first to sixth place, as navigating that second turn full risk is so difficult, even for Division 1 players, let alone for anybody else. Even for those who train this map extensively, it is just very difficult. So far, a balanced round. Gigasan and Supersonic keeping up closely. Gigasan, lots of risk, but that risk will be rewarded, and you see what happens. This is the calculus you have in your head. All ARRO players navigating these turns expertly. Now, Engel overtaking Supersonic for 4th, Vamos overtaking him for 5th, but he will strike back so far. An ARRO round by 1 point as Dopamine in the distance is not getting a lot of support from Engel and Vamos yet. Dying moments, this is a close round from 2nd to 6th place, only half a second. So far, so good. Vamos moves into the deciding position, but Supersonic will try a late snipe. Can Supersonic do it? No! He touches the wall at the very end. He touches the wall by the very end, and Vamos, by 100 of a second, he puts XOXO on the board for round number 1. What a round to start on. And Dopamine, needs to be said, a 1:15.00, a Division 1 quality time, and a big boon, because I don't think, even though Miraco, Supersonic, and Gigasan, who sadly makes a huge mistake, but Dopamine follows up! Dopamine follows up, and the round is wide open, and that's what I said. That second corner lethal for all players. Even the best, even the most experienced, even trophy winners in Nascar are not immune to the perils of this map back, and now the round blasts wide open as Miraco and Supersonic actually inherit the lead. And as I was saying, Miraco, famously of Team DGF, a full-speed superstar in his own right, but he's been playing NASCAR for years at a very high level. Supersonic, rising star of FKX, not to be discounted, but they don't have a person who can stand up to Dopamine if he's playing safe. That said, though, in this round, they don't have Dopamine in the equation, and Vamos and Engel are fighting an uphill battle to keep up. As Supersonic and Miraco are putting down some good pace. Very, very strong and very competitive, but now Vamos is catching up. Supersonic let up the throttle just a little bit. Miraco behind him maybe had to release a little bit extra. Vamos, lots of pressure. If they can navigate the last turn safely, it should, however, be an ARRO round, and they do indeed. 1:15.6, 1:15.8. Those are very respectable times. Vamos and Engel, a good battle. But nothing to be done, and we're 1-1. And to be entirely honest, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I want to see ARRO capitalizing on every opportunity when Dopamine is not pulling XOXO from the front and trying to punish their players in Deft, because I would say Miraco, Supersonic, and Gigasan, a very evenly matched team. Very strong players that should not be discounted in the slightest. However, Team XOXO, loads of competitive experience. Engel, formerly Team FRT. Team Bros, now playing for XOXO. A veteran of many, many tournaments in his own right. A fearsome player. Vamos, as good of a player as he is a mapper, you have to be good at one thing to be good at the other. Never to be discounted. Looking forward to a continuation of a strong match, and the round is evenly matched again. Supersonic and Miraco pulling from the front. Gigasan might have made a severe mistake, or might just be slightly behind. Miraco touching the outside Rammstein. Supersonic risking a lot to keep his second place, and he really has to, considering the circumstances. Dopamine blitzing forward into the distance. Gigasan also nowhere to be found. The battle is between Engel and Miraco, possibly for that 3rd, 4th place. But so far, it's solidly an XOXO round. But Vamos with a huge mistake, might bring it back, but the snipe needs to happen, and Miraco is nowhere to be found as well. Miraco with a severe mistake. Supersonic retains 2nd, but Dopamine in a 1:14.9. I think he's done enough. Vamos will reach the finish line in 5th place, and it is XOXO that will take round number 3. And Vamos accidentally saving the replay during a race. Hotkey gone wrong, causing an error for the player, but he did manage to finish 5th regardless. A very important point, as we are super evenly matched in team points. Look at this. 14-12, 11-10, 8-8. ARRO and XOXO players very evenly matched. So despite this match containing Dopamine, multi-time PTC winner, multi-time SNC winner, possibly the greatest Nascar player of all time, we actually still have a super competitive 3 versus 3 match. As long as ARRO keep their best up, they are capable of putting Angle and XOXO, Angle and Vamos slightly behind them, which is exactly what they need. Now Miraco from the back fighting a bit of a losing battle, but it's all to play for at the front. Who navigates the second corner successfully? Full speed, Gigasan out, everybody else navigates it. Angle lost a lot of speed, ceding the position to Miraco, but with Vamos ahead of Supersonic, there's not much to play for. Dopamine with a secure anchor from the front, really making the difference from Team XOXO right now. As the battle in the midfield has been super evenly matched, Gigasan maybe on the receiving end of a couple of big crashes, but always been a player about risk. Angle, risk, not rewarded, will cede the position, possibly even the round. Who finishes in second? This is essential. Supersonic does manage to beat Vamos to the finish line, and now Gigasan beats Angle to the finish line. But it is, by 1 point, still a XOXO round. Vamos securing it. I think if it wasn't for multiple mistakes by ARRO players, that could have been an equalizer. But now, 3-1, the lead, Dopamine breaking out into a team point lead, but Supersonic only 3 points behind a Division 1 superstar. A very good performance that he needs to be proud of. FKX, you know, a team that a lot of rising stars were associated with, or are associated with. Gigasan and Supersonic, a couple of very promising and talented players in their own right, but also players like Casper, Outrun. Even for a while, Devil was part of FKX and competed with them in one of the SNCs before abandoning them for certain super teams. Vamos now touching the Rammstein a little bit. Supersonic, Gigasonic, Dopamine. Sorry, Supersonic and Gigasan. Gigasan will make a mistake, but so did Dopamine. Unfortunately, Dopamine's mistake pretty small. Gigasan's mistake pretty big, and Miraco is nowhere to be found, which means that this, when the cookie crumbles in the end, XO's mistakes will not be punished. Vamos with a very solid 3rd place, really doing a great job for his team. Supersonic will now also touch the wall. It might end up being an XOXO ace at the end of it all. A surprise to be sure, not what I had in mind. Can Dopamine fulfill the ace by sniping Supersonic at the last corner? No, he can't. He will be denied at this time of asking, but Angle in a strong time. Vamos with 2nd place, safe and sound, paying off in spades. And I think it's really interesting to note, like, the tactical decisions from Team XOXO. We saw in the first couple of rounds that Supersonic, Miraco, and Gigasan, if they are at their peak pace, they can absolutely actually stand up to Angle and Vamos. But what they did in response, knowing that Dopamine is anchoring them, they have transferred into a much more safe line, especially Vamos, giving up a couple of tenths of a second, but finishing most rounds, while ARRO have to risk to match the fact that Dopamine is always in 1st place. Something which is costing them dearly. This is the interesting detail about the SNC match format. When you have a really strong player who is in prime form, it helps the rest of your team perform, as they can make tactical decisions to play more safe, to finish more, to get more team points that they might not have earned on pure pace otherwise. XOXO, Dopamine touching, but not a whole lot of players even in position to punish. Angle even still in 4th place despite a big mistake by Dopamine. Supersonic inherits the lead, but his team isn't there to fight with him, so it won't amount to much, although Supersonic continues a form that is really enviable. He's been very consistent for Team ARRO. He's been their leader in team points. Dopamine again, just risking wall lifting off the ground. Won't help much. Let's tune in ahead of us. And Vamos snipe Supersonic. No, but that is a new best time from Vamos, proving himself competitive enough, securing a 4th round on the trot and putting themselves up 5-1, despite Supersonic having the same amount of team points as Dopamine. It's not doing enough for them because Miraco and Gigasan, who feel the need to risk to match up to his pace are crashing in a lot of the rounds, and Vamos and Engel have taken advantage with their competitive experience with years in tournament play. They know exactly what they need to do in this moment to punish the opening that ARRO gave them. It's a small opening, it isn't much, but just... They have a small advantage and they're taking it to the maximum, which is exactly what you expect to see from players who are veterans of so many years of NASCAR gameplay. But every round is a new opportunity and the match is far from over. So let's see what ARRO can do to bring themselves back, because their pace is promising. Their consistency even is promising, but it just ends up not crumbling their way in the end. Gigasan will again touch the wall. This has not been his map. Dead last in team points, and again touching the wall. Engel will make a small mistake, but it won't really amount to much. Supersonic barely in position to punish, but now Vamos also sees a position. Miraco and Supersonic now possibly being in position. But can't they really do it at the very end of it? I mean, if Supersonic can snipe this position from Engel, there might be something to say about it. Can he do it? Or can Engel mount a valiant defense? In his years of competition, Engel has finished his fair share of rounds, and he'll finish it again. Vamos even sniping Supersonic as two ARRO players make a mistake in the final turn, and map point XOXO. ARRO started off well. They were matching them in pace. They had good consistency, but in the end, Dopamine charging from the front, and ARRO pressured by the pace, not able to keep up and ceding a lot of points. That has been the story of this map so far. And obviously with Dopamine on their side, yes, XOXO are favored, but this could have been closer, and maybe it still will be on the other maps depending on what roster changes happen. As a reminder, they still have substitutes. We haven't seen FastXZ and Spar140 for ARRO. And we haven't seen Anju and Bling yet for Team XOXO. They might be there in the reserve. Maybe they practice the map. Maybe they will be the secret weapon for their teams to overhaul what is proving to be a decisive XOXO lead after map 1. Supersonic and Gigasan now, the FKX duo, not to be deterred, not to be discouraged. They are following Dopamine and they're determined to give him a good fight. Supersonic in particular has had a successful map 1 with 29 team points, only 4 behind Dopamine after a couple of rounds not going his way. He has been his match in terms of the capacity to aid his team, even if he isn't his equal in pace. So far so good, another second place. Gigasan providing close fire support, but with Miraco in 6th, it does seem that not much is going to happen. Unless the late mistake happens by one of the players in front, Dopamine gives it up, and ARRO will survive. A caster curse and a half. Miraco finishes last, but they will get a point. Even the greatest among us, not above making mistakes. This one, by Dopamine, gives ARRO a route back, and ARRO would really love to win 1 or 2 more rounds. ARRO would really love to put together some clean rounds and reduce their deficit heading into map number 2. It would be really important for their morale further into the match, especially if Dopamine continues playing for XOXO. They need every point they can get. Miraco risking, risk not rewarded. As we said, this map, a balance of risks, especially early on. Gigasan now risking. They feel pressured in this 6-2 situation, but what that ends up doing is just delivering them into the waiting hands of Engel and Vamos, going hand in hand. Veterans on full display, bringing it back. 29 and 27 team points respectively, putting up a very good effort compared to Dopamine as well, doing what their team needs them to do. Unsung heroes, well deserving of praise. Supersonic also needs to be shouted out. Great performance, but unfortunately it will not do much to dissuade his team's losses. Miraco and Gigasan after a promising start. Consistency not in their favor, and it looks like an XOXO round. Dopamine, this time I think he'll finish, and he does indeed in the fastest he's done so far, a 1:14.74, followed by Supersonic, Engel, Miraco, Vamos, Gigasan, 7-2-2. As we head into Dopamine's own map, Anari or Anafi, depending on how that was meant to be pronounced. Another map where risk is tantamount, but a simpler map than this, which might end up working in ARRO's favor. After map 1, I would say, score not too Not too indicative. I think ARRO had a lot of pace in hand, but the consistency was their undoing. As Engel and Vamos, 31 points each, Dopamine with 41, Supersonic with a super respectable 39. But Miraco and Gigasan just slightly pressured to risk a bit more on a map which is very punishing. If you miss even the slightest, if you touch even the slightest bit of Rammstein, you will be out. And that ended up costing them, I think, 1 or 2 points that they could have really easily had. This could have been a 7-4. Unfortunately, it'll be a 7-2 instead. And we already have the preview of the first substitution taking place. As a reminder, these teams all have 5 players, 3 each on every map, and it will be Fast XZ, a player we saw the first time in the SNC 2022. A super talented player who will be substituting, I believe he will be substituting Gigasan. Miraco and Sonic will stay in the roster. Dopamine will be staying, Vamos will be staying, and Engel substituted by Andrew, formerly of Team RH. An Italian team, I believe, with a lot of Nascar pedigree. He himself, a veteran of the scene and of so many tournaments. So we'll be getting new refreshments to power the teams heading into map 2, and let's look at what this map has to offer for us. A map mapped by Dopamine, and he will be playing on it as well to give XOXO a further advantage as we head into lap number 2 with Supersonic. The flat segment at the beginning, you need to go right enough on this jump at the start-finish line to be able to take this optimally. You can lose a lot of speed by having to release here, and conversely you can gain a lot of speed by being able to push. Simple, banked 180, not much to say here, but the real turn that makes this map different is the one Dopamine is about to take, the banked 270. You can choose a drift approach and you can choose a no drift approach. And what ends up happening is that the no drift is generally considered the faster and more optimal strategy, but the drift is the safer strategy. And at the level of pace demonstrated by Bros earlier today, and even, you know, Division 2 matches earlier, it might be alright to go with the drift, giving more security to the players while maintaining a competitive place. So looking forward, who will try to use the no drift to their advantage, and how will the players navigate the start of the lap, which is so perilous, especially in lap 2. We have one more warm-up. XOXO still not entirely sure, and Dopamine will not play. Dopamine will not play as the mapper in a sporting concession to Team ARRO, and Team ARRO should be looking at this and thinking that they should be able to get more points now, as they have been the match of Engel and Vamos on map number 1 in terms of pace, and you should imagine that they will be able to keep up with Vamos, Andrew, and Engel on map number 2 as well. So ARRO looking to strike back, but XOXO, just because they don't have Dopamine does not mean that they are by any means a weak team. Vamos, Andrew, Engel, competitive veterans with so much experience. Never to be discounted. They know exactly how to punish any weakness that ARRO give them. A very, very, very strong match. We watch the players navigate this. Let's see how they deal with this lap number 2. You see Andrew, he had to compromise his line slightly because he didn't go so far to the right coming into the jump, and he does navigate it safely, but not particularly quickly. You see Fast and Supersonic actually breaking away even further in the distance, and this is really going to be the question in Division 2. The no drift might give you an advantage, but do you want to risk it? Do you really maybe want to try and push versus maybe even taking it a bit safely? How much do you really want to put in the throttle? Because this map is perfectly capable of punishing every player. Hello, hello, nice to see you again. Nice to see you in Division 2 for a change, honestly. I think it gives a refreshment for everybody competing in Division 1 that they don't have to try to beat you. Dopamine with us in the chat, but now the focus on the 6 players remaining. Miraco, Fast, Supersonic versus Vamos, Andrew, and Engel. A tantalizing match on a great map that I think will really allow these players to express themselves fully. Not too complicated, but absolutely possible to risk. Possible to risk, possible to get rewarded, and possible to lose your team the round. Really a matter of strategy as much as it is pure driving skill. Let's see what happens. Gigasan, not the best map number 1. He will be subbing out. In his place, FastXZ. Saw him for the first time in the SNC 2022, and he's been promising ever since. I think he will be quite the player to watch, especially on a map with so many drifts. You might imagine that he would be quite comfortable. Andrew falling behind, other 5 players, nothing to separate them. Anybody's round to play for. Andrew still within striking distance. Miraco, bit of risk. Oh my lord. Engel, goodbye. The map claims the first victim. FastXZ risking it on the outside. Rammstein, he will survive, but he will cede some speed. Still, Team Argentum Ross, promising pace in map 1 and promising pace again in map number 2. But what they need to work on is their ability to finish, their ability to recognize their winning situation with Engel's huge mistakes, and not taking unnecessary risks. Supersonic didn't get the memo. Will drop several positions. Andrew and Vamos both in a position to punish. Vamos not necessarily. I believe he might be out. And he is indeed out. Severe mistakes, so Supersonic good to go so far. Miraco and Fast anchoring from the front. Andrew actually, despite a weak start, in 3rd place right now. Securing quite a bit of points for his team. Not that it will help them much. ARRO, 1 corner left to navigate. Miraco and FastXZ will reach the finish line in a very solid 1:24.0 for Miraco. And a point on the board for Team Argentum Ross. They will need quite a few of them to catch up. XOXO, some unfortunate and severe mistakes entirely possible on this map. Just because it seems simple to learn does not mean that it is any less hard to master than the other maps. Truly, truly worthy of an SNC Grand Final map pack. 3-7 the score now. Argentum Ross, they should see that they have the pace. Andrew again doing a Deft, failing the start. We've all been there, me especially. Nothing to be too worried about, as he was able to come back in the last round, punishing these mistakes, and Andrew will be that tactical 3rd player for XOXO, while Vamos and Engel duke it out from the front. A winning strategy as good as any, but ARRO have some very evenly matched players, which might give them the advantage. Does anybody go for the no drift? A couple of players did, but I don't think it paid off. The full drift from FastXZ, keeping him in 2nd place. And what happened behind us? Looks like Andrew and Engel are further behind, but 6 players within 0.6 of a second. Heading into lap number 2, not bad, still within striking distance. Flat, beginning of lap number 2, Andrew with the release, proving the point that you have to take this optimally or you're losing a lot of speed. FastXZ, risking a lot, touching the wall. Both Andrew and Engel will punish, and now Vamos in 2nd place is actually a critical linchpin for Team XOXO, as they might be able to strike back thanks to Fast's mistake. Miraco and Supersonic, it is essential that they hold on to 1st and 3rd place. Miraco doing very well for himself on this map after the first one didn't really go his way. Will he be able to win a 2nd round on the trot? Vamos, Supersonic fighting to the end. Supersonic has to finish, but he will even snipe Vamos at the end by 100 of a second, and it will be an ARRO round. Managing to keep them at bay. Miraco 1:23.5, super competitive time. Daddy 23, matches my own personal best at 100 of a second. What a performance. And they're 2-0, 4-7 overall scoreline. And you know, Vamos and Engel, they did the job on map number 1. They've paired with Dopamine super well and punished tactically ARRO's mistakes that they were forced into, but now, with less mistakes forced by the team, they aren't able to keep up nearly as well. They've made some severe mistakes themselves. Time to see what they do in the following round. Did Vamos have to maybe risk a bit on the outside? Rammstein, is he still with us? He did save it, but he falls behind. Engel attacks in response. The movements of the teams, always a pleasure to watch in these SNC team matches, but it is ARRO that has a delegation, moving as a pack at the front. Engel keeping them at bay, but he is currently alone. He needs support from the back. Support that can still strike if a mistake were to occur at the front. Moving to the end of lap 1, beginning of lap 2. Engel carrying loads of speed. ARRO actually not carrying loads of speed. This might be XOXO's opportunity to strike back, depending on what happens. Who gets to carry the most speed into the second half of the lap? We see Engel maintaining an iron grip on the lead. The veteran of Team FRT putting down the heat from when he used to compete in SNC Grand Finals himself. Don't forget, this man has class, this man has pedigree, and he will not let us forget that very easily. However, Miraco, Supersonic, and Fast still maintaining the grip on the round as Vamos and Andrew not able to strike back for Team XOXO. Angle will finish far clear of anybody else in a powerful 123.8. And although Vamos in the end did manage to snipe Fast by 100 of a second, it ends up being a blue round by 1 point. Blue round by 1 point, and they managed to take 3 on the trot, and they're very close to equalizing this match. 5-7 overall score. Andrew improving the start. Good things to see. He's warming up into the match. 17 points puts him the worst of the bunch, but he is still very close to Angle with 11 in third. And it's been Miraco really pushing from the front, delivering a huge performance and the fastest round so far. On behalf of Team ARRO, that's really been what's kept them ahead of Team XOXO and what's cut into the lead that they built up on map number 1. And XOXO, they have competitive veterans, but the pace not perhaps on their side so far. They are, however, determined to prove me wrong, as now we have a super competitive round on our hands. 0.2 of a second, separating 5 players. This is exactly what we want to see. This is top-class NASCAR action brought to you from the Division 2 Small Final. Any match you pick, you're gonna get your money's worth. Miraco and Fast leading in, but Angle, loads of pace in hand. Fast, however, will get more speed out of the exit, but Miraco's mistake, it blows the round wide open. Vamos and Angle, they are like sharks, they smell blood in the water, and they are immediately there to pounce. And ARRO might end up losing this round anyway, despite Fast heroics. First place, essential to keep. Angle going for the no drift, ARRO going for the full drift. He will get a little bit more speed, but can he really catch up to Fast by the end of it? Battle being fought in the back as well. Super important. Supersonic actually managing to snipe the place from Andrew. Miraco and Andrew in the final corner, who ends up taking it. Miraco will take the final point from Andrew and take the round. The snipe essential in the end. Oh no. But what a round. What a round, ladies and gentlemen. What a level of action from ARRO and XOXO. This is top quality NASCAR. Top quality NASCAR. A bug indeed. Dopamine, very keen eye in the chat, noticing the bugs taking the players. Plenty of bugs in this map pack, but the players need to find a way to navigate it safely. They simply have to. This is the demand of an SNC Grand Final map pack. Players against the game, players against themselves, players against the opposing team. Miraco will touch the inside Ramstein, going to get bugged out, and he's going to lose some speed, but he's not going to full crash. He can be in striking distance if an XOXO member makes a mistake. However, round still in the advantage of ARRO to Fast and Supersonic, who maintain the lead from the front. Let's see what they're capable of doing. Angle in a chasing position, navigating now these flat turns. How can they do it? Supersonic with a ton of speed, Vamos with a ton of speed. Vamos will take the second place from Fast XC. Critical point. Critical point is Andrew and Miraco again fighting in the back. Miraco is going to try to make another snipe happen, and so far he's managed to overtake Andrew, whose safe pace unfortunately is being exploited a little bit by Miraco right now, who's even attacking Angle now. He will not be deterred, but Angle has the better exit speed. He will regain the position, still with 2 ARRO players in the front and only Vamos to defend. It doesn't look like they'll be able to stop what is now a 5-round streak. And ladies and gentlemen, this match has been equalized. 7-7. And it's not that XOXO are playing poorly, quite the contrary. Angle, 19 team points, just behind Miraco and Supersonic, but Vamos with 17 is also just 4 points away from the lead. It's only Andrew whose safe place is maybe being a little bit exploited, but that's precisely the point, as I learned on my own skin. Even having one player in 6 who is slightly behind on the pace means that you're going to lose a lot of consecutive rounds, because it gives the players on the other team the opportunity to push a little bit less. 90% of the risk is in the last 10% of the pace. This is a truth of NASCAR that all players learn at the competitive level, and because Andrew, he is a legend of the game, he's a strong player, but just because his pace is slightly weaker, because he chose to play the role of the rear gunner, of the closer, it gives ARRO the opportunity to release 1 or 2 more tenths of a second, which drastically improves their ability to finish these rounds safely. And suddenly, although Angle and Vamos are actually competing just as well as they did on map 1, they need to do more. They need to push harder, and in pushing harder, there is a lot of risk. Angle, however, he's up to the challenge. Vamos, however, he's up to the challenge. He heard me. He knows, they know what it's like to fight at the highest level, and they are more than up to the challenge. Make no mistake about it. They are now leading the round, and they are looking to break ARRO's 5-round streak and regain the lead of the match. Vamos and Engel, that 1-2, and Andrew punishing the mistake of Fast. This is what XOXO really wanted. They wanted to have 2 leading from the front, with Andrew taking these 4th, 5th positions that open up. Engel strong 123.88. Vamos in second. They break the 5-round streak. They go up 8-7 again. And this is the tactical plan, right, that XOXO had in mind for map number 2, especially because they won the first map 7-2. Their intention was to have Andrew be the closer while Engel and Vamos lead from the front. And unfortunately, because ARRO have both Miraco, Supersonic, and Fast, who are very evenly matched, I would say maybe even the strongest 3-man that they could have picked. They really have a lot of pace in hand, and this makes this strategy a little bit difficult to execute. It has not worked out, but they will be hoping to regain some points to maintain the lead heading into map number 3, which will be Imposter Syndrome by Blitz, a flat map, which I think will suit the players of XOXO very, very well. They have some very strong flat map players in there. That said, though, we still have a couple of rounds left to play on this map, and this one is not looking too hot for Team XOXO. Their strategy not working out this time. Is look at this, yeah, when ARRO have 3 players within 0.2 of a second, all driving at optimal pace, this is a level of consistency within the team which is hard to match. Engel now, he was forced to risk to keep up, and he drops, and this is the mental aspect of the game. Never to be underestimated. This is not a train server. What you did on the train server doesn't matter. What pace you're theoretically capable of, it doesn't matter. It's just what you're able to do on the day, how hot the players are feeling, and what that does mentally for the rest of your team. Does that free them up to perform better, snipe some easy points at the end? Does that force you to risk and therefore lose some points? Nascar is a brutal game, and none more brutal result. It's an ace for Team ARRO. They equalize again at 8-8, and they have map point. 6 map points, to be precise. 123.67 by Miraco. He has led the way in terms of pace for his team on this map. 30 team points. Supersonic, who was already the second in team points on map number 1. He's second in team points again on map number 2. Engel, Vamos, strong, but not strong enough because Fast has put up 23 points, while Andrew only able to put down 13. And we have Vamos the car inspector. And the players unfortunately interrupted. Vamos the car was forced into spec, which would have made it a 3 versus 2 round. Not the way we want this to end. Not the way any of these competitive and sportsmanlike players want it to happen. Now a 3 versus 3. And we are heading into the first of possible 6 map points for Team ARRO, which would also give them the overall lead. And on the first time of asking, Supersonic, risk not rewarded. XOXO now with an excellent opportunity, and you see the merits of Andrew's strategy. He's in striking distance, he's doing very well for himself. But that's the cruelty of the SNC, even though he still has so much skill as a player. Unfortunately, even the slightest pace deficiency can be relentlessly punished. I learned that on my own skin. He's learning it now, but he is keen to prove me wrong. Now XOXO looking to immediately respond with an ace of their own as Supersonic is 3 checkpoints behind. Severe error forced him to reset. Andrew will give up the ace, but the round still firmly secured with Engel and Vamos, 2 players. You would imagine there is no way they let this go. They've been in this situation and they've protected against far worse many a time before in the past. Fast, however, he will try them. He will try mounting an attack, but I do think this round is close to over. Just a couple of simple corners to navigate. Engel and Vamos to deny the map point at the first time of asking. They will successfully do so. Engel in a 123.8. Very well done. And they deny the first map point, and they give themselves a lifeline in the match, and they are doing well for themselves. Andrew, doesn't matter what pace you have if you're able to snipe these points. This is also a fact of life in the SNC, but the 5 other players, I should say, apart from Miraco's Miraculous, 123.5 Actually, 5 of them, or 4 of them, I should say, within 0.2 of a second. So a close, well-contested match. Definitely a highlight. Well worth rewatching. All players delivering to their very best level. This is exactly what you want to see. You're going to be able to rewatch this years later and be proud of what you have accomplished. So let's make sure that keeps on going. ARRO, second map point. If they were to win it now, we would be completely equal heading into map number 3 with a 9-9. XOXO would look to preserve their lead by winning a round. Engel and Vamos, they've done it again. They're holding on to these first 2 positions, but now Engel, outside Rammstein, proves his undoing as he's being sniped, but now Fast touches the wall. He will cede the position to Andrew, and all of a sudden, nothing to separate the players, but it is essential that Vamos defends the front. This is now the battle for the round. Miraco and Supersonic on the attack, Vamos on the defense, and unfortunately both of them will slip past his defenses. His guard let down, they immediately deliver a 1-2 combination to try and push ARRO into a completely equal state heading into map 3. This would be a closely contested match. Vamos will fight with everything he's got, and make no mistake, he has a lot to fight with. But it will not be enough. It seems like that mistake ended up costing him in the end. Just the smallest release, punished expertly by ARRO. 7-2 the map, 9-9. The overall score. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a match on our hands. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Division 2 small final. Not to be underestimated in terms of the competitive level that can be provided by these players. And the next map, Imposter Syndrome by Blitzer. A flat map, which again, in the tradition of the rest of the map pack, you can risk as much as you would like. That risk may not pay off. You have to take so much calculated risk in order to drive fast, but if you do, we might see some of the closest, most tightly contested rounds yet. Dopamine will be subbing back in, so ARRO, they need to field a good lineup to keep it going. It will be Gigasan in, FastXZ out. He's done his job admirably, and Gigasan will be looking to avenge his map 1 shakiness by punishing XOXO on map 3. In the meantime, Andrew will be going in. Vamos, after 2 maps, takes a well-deserved break. Substituted by Dopamine. Engel to play his 3rd consecutive map, as expected from the veteran. Capable of learning a great deal. Adjusting himself to any map. He is such an asset for Team XOXO, Engel is. And they will be looking to benefit from that asset for the 3rd consecutive map, as he's actually had a lot of team points for them on both of the first 2 maps. Into the flat map we go. And what a flat map it is. This map is not simple at all. I heard the analysis on the Division 1 stream. I disagree with it to a certain extent. This map is brutal. You have to risk in order to push yourself on this map, and that risk will immediately bring you into touch with the outside and inside Rammsteins of almost every corner. What you need is an almost perfect, picture-perfect understanding of flow. Your flow must be unbroken for 3 consecutive laps on a low-speed map. Because that's precisely the point. This is a low-speed flat map with an emphasis on technique. If you miss just 1 corner, you're not going to lose 1/10 of a second. You're not going to lose 2/10 of a second. You're going to lose 5. And if you want to maintain that optimal flow, the map forces you to approach these inside and outside Rammsteins, to flirt with danger, to flirt with disaster. This map is every bit as difficult to master as the other ones were. Make no mistake about it. Don't get it confused. And I'm really looking forward to see how the players deal with it. You see with Supersonic, by pushing that corner, he was almost at the outside Rammstein. He didn't take such a good line for the 270 now. If he's trying to take this at full speed, when he has full speed, you will again be at the outside Rammstein. And do you really want to risk trying to make that slide back into the main road? Is that something you're willing to risk with an even match? Because whichever team gets an advantage on map number 3, you think to yourself, this is the map where the match will be decided. This is where things can break. Because we're completely even right now. 9-9. And look at the peril that the players are putting themselves in. To drive these corners at full speed, you are taking the full width of the road. You must release at the optimal timing. By no means an easy flat map. You will see a big difference from Dedi 1 to Dedi 30. You will see a big difference from Dedi 1 to what people are driving right now. because you're able to extract so much additional pace if you're willing to push, if you're willing to risk. This ain't a train server. Are you willing to do that with your team on the line? Yet to be decided. Second warm-up on the way. Dopamine substituting back in, Giga-san substituting back in. Giga-san, we know him. He has so much talent on flat maps. He should never be underestimated. He can be the cornerstone of a powerful ARRO attack. But on the other side, Dopamine returns. And ARRO do not have an answer for Dopamine's pace. That's a fact. Dopamine can even play with a more relaxed pace. He is still a multi-time PTCS and C winner. He is better than any other player here. They do not have an answer for him. But can they punish the remaining two players on XOXO? Can they get a second, third, fourth finish? Can they snipe these points, which are critical for deciding the rounds? This is really how this map is going to be decided. You see, Dopamine, he has an immaculate flow. He's navigating this map like it's nobody's business. But can the rest of the players be trusted to do that? Do they trust themselves to do it? What is the best choice from a tactical perspective? Remember, this is a 3-lap map. You touch one Rammstein here, you're cooked. This is a low-speed flat map. There are no boosters. There's no way back in for you. And if you release half a second, there's also no way back in for you. This is a test of perfection. And I think ARRO might have enough talent to answer it. Giga-san, he risked a lot on map number 1. It wasn't rewarded. Maybe this time his approach will be correct. We will see. The second warm-up comes to a close. Giga-san, okay, that's not the ending he wants to have in a live round, but he demonstrates to you that on this map, you're never safe. You are never safe. Every corner can be your downfall. Every corner can be your undoing. 2.5 laps don't matter if you don't finish the third. A bit of hydration to restore the voice, as we have a 9-9 even match on our hands heading into the most even map, possibly contestable. I'm glad I got the chance to cast this specific match. Division 1's great and all, but this is where the real gameplay strikes. This is the lifeblood of Nascar. Players giving it their all. It's no different regardless of what division you play in, and we will try to do it justice. Let's see how the players navigate it. How much risk, how much reward? Can Andrew strike back after an individually disappointing map number 2? He still secured some good points and some good rounds, but the pace maybe wasn't necessarily there. Is he keen to push a bit harder? Does it look like he is? He's going to again play the tactical role of the tail gunner, with Dopamine up ahead, with ARRO forced and pressured into pushing more. Andrew is in striking distance. Doesn't matter that his pace might be slightly further off. He is playing an essential role which can win rounds for Team XOXO, making no mistake about it. But what they need right now is for Angle to start cleaving his way through the field. And he's doing just that. He cleaves his way through 2 ARRO players, and now he's looking to punish Miraco as well. 6 players, 0.8 of a second. 5 players, 0.5 of a second. As even as you can possibly ask for. So far, not a lot of major mistakes. Angle, oh my lord, he will risk, but he will stay safe. However, ARRO haunting him until the bitter end. They will not give up easily. XOXO, however, looking good. Andrew still within striking distance to punish any mistake, and Angle securing the all-important 3rd place which decides the round. Now again, even looking to punish Miraco possibly. Giga-san punished by Andrew, the tactical role done to perfection. The tail gunner will snipe a point from the back while Angle defends from the front, and when it all ends, it is an XOXO round. Done well as a team, they get another lead, 10-9 overall. And Dopamine in a 135.1, that is a deady time. But Miraco with a 135.8, do not underestimate how hard it is to achieve that sort of time. That's what we might be seeing in the Division 2 Grand Final. We didn't see times that were too much better than a 135.8 regular. So the players can be happy with the level that they've displayed, but again, the problem for ARRO is that with Dopamine anchoring them from the front, they need all 3 players to put in a healthy amount of risk. They can't really have a player that is doing what Andrew is doing right now and playing from the back. They need equal risk. And the problem is that that puts so much additional stress on the players. The last 10% of pace requires 90% of risk. And Gigasan caught out by it again. Angle leading from the front. Dopamine within striking distance. XOXO looking to punish and return to their winning ways. As Dopamine jaunts into second place while Andrew admirably, only half a second behind the top and still so close. Miracle and Supersonic cannot afford to make a single mistake because he will be there to punish. A masterclass, a tactical plan executed to perfection. Andrew collects another one. Supersonic in the wall. This is what I said about this map. You do need to risk to drive it at a quick pace. You do need to push. And just because it is flat does not mean that it is any less complex. As evidenced by the mistakes the players are making, Dopamine and Angle leading from the front. What an impressive showing from Angle especially. He has such a good pace so far. And third map in, this guy, he continues putting in the most insane times. He doesn't care. He's not fatigued in the slightest. He's doing exactly what his team needs. 1:35.59. Amazing time. Ace Team XOXO. That's precisely the point. Andrew, he secures the ace for them. Doesn't matter what his pace is. He is part of exactly what he needs to be. The beauty and the cruelty of the SNC match format. 11-9. The overall match score, XOXO. They seem to have a decisive lead with neither Supersonic nor Gigasan being able to come into their own on this map yet, and with Miracle being beaten both by Dopamine and Angle. So far, the advantage to them. And if they can get a couple of rounds now, this might just be the point at which the match breaks. The score here is 11-9. It was actually 9-9 after 2 maps. Super close match here, actually. But now XOXO, they are taking the advantage on this map, I believe. However, Angle will give them a lifeline, and Andrew is in 5th. And now, ARRO. This is where you prove your maturity as a team. This is where you have to communicate, realize the position you're in. You even have a player ahead of Dopamine. You must finish safely. These players have to trust themselves to have the pace to stay ahead of Andrew. All they need to do is finish safely, and they must cut down the lead of Team XOXO. They must keep it close. If they start dropping points now, very soon, they will be out of the match with no way back in. It is essential, utterly essential, that they maintain this for the third lap. They have 2, 3, and 4. Closely matched team, exactly what we thought of when we saw the roster. They must show the possibility to capitalize on Angle's rare mistakes. He really hasn't had many of them this night, but ARRO needs to punish every single one of them. That's their key to victory with a player like Dopamine in the field, and so far so good. Oh, but Supersonic, that touch was uncalled for. He will, however, manage to stay safe. Finish it off now. No mistakes in the finish line. Good. Not the fastest round in terms of pace, but importantly, a critical round from Team ARRO. And we have round number 4 on our hands. The match score 11-10. Super closely contested, and ARRO with the last round have proven that they have the necessary pace and consistency to strike back and keep it close. And they need to keep it close. They want to keep it close. Because I imagine that map number 4 isn't half bad for ARRO at all. They will like a map like that. I think that their chances are good if they make it there. But they have to traverse a dangerous opponent in Dopamine on a flat map, no less. Dopamine, who has won 3 out of 3 rounds, they have to find a way to score past them. An enviable challenge, but they might be up to the task. Supersonic. I mean, man, this guy. First 2 maps, second in team points. Keeping up with Dopamine on map number 1. Putting the heat down on map number 2. Now on map number 3, he's again contesting him closely. Gigasan with the critical battle against Andrew. Has to maintain a position, but Andrew, don't think for a second that any player in this match is weak. He will defend his position vigorously, fiercely. He will not be intimidated by Gigasan breathing down his neck. He is champion material. This guy has been playing Nascar for the better part of a decade. You're gonna need to throw more than that at him. Miracle now being shaken off by Angle. Dopamine still keeping Supersonic at bay, but only by the barest of margins. Now he will put up some pace and break away from him, but Giga-san overtook Andrew, who ends up winning the round. I do think it's an XOXO round, and it is by 1 point. My apologies. Do I even have somebody who's a channel mod that I can use to delete Blitz's message? I don't want people to be spoiled. I don't think I do, and I don't think it matters. What we have ahead of us is more interesting than Division 1 Grand Final, because it's a closer match. 12-10 the score, but ARRO, they can be right back in it. They can be in it at a moment's notice. Look at this. Dopamine wins 4 rounds. Behind him, Angle 14, Miraco 13, Giga-san 12, Supersonic 12, Andrew 9. 5 players with an incredible level of consistency between them. They're basically running the same times. They are the people that are actually deciding the rounds. Dopamine, listen, he can have all the points he wants. He can set S&C records for the most points in a match. It doesn't matter. The round will be decided behind him. He might be the star, but he's not the lead actor in this match. And right now it is ARRO who have a trio to be afraid of. They're doing exactly what they did in their one winning round. They're taking a pace advantage against Andrew and utilizing a mistake by Angle to put themselves into a position that is difficult to dislodge. They just need to finish 1 lap, and like I said, they need to prove their maturity as a team by taking this point without risking anything. They don't need to catch up to Dopamine. Nobody cares, and nobody expects them to. What they need to do is beat up the rest of Team XOXO and give a kiss to their bruises. That's how they're gonna win this one. So far, so good. Couple of corners. Giga-san, completely unnecessary risk, but not one that's going to put him into material danger. They finish up the round, and they keep it close to the free. Dopamine, however, in a very good 134.9. Miraco in a 135.7. Supersonic in a 135.8. These are all very fast rounds. 12-11. 1 round separates the teams. Dopamine has the maximum possible amount of team points after 5 rounds. 5 straight round wins. It's still an even match. ARRO need to look for consistency. They have the pace. They need the consistency. Giga-san didn't get the memo. He's gonna crash out. Dopamine continues to lead. Supersonic and Miraco still hold on to the essential positions. Miraco will slide out. Now it is Team XOXO to punish. But now Angle goes... Supersonic goes wide. Everything is going into the dumpster. Miraco in the wall. Good God, man. 5 rounds of top-class action seems to have been the limit. We have a meltdown from several players, but the people who end up standing are XOXO. Dopamine in a fearsome pace. Andrew actually with a super solid pace of his own. And Angle anchoring what is one of the strangest aces I've seen in a long time. And ARRO will be ruining this. I really think they should have tried to be consistent and push to equalize the match and to try to not let XOXO get even a single free point. But what ends up happening is that they end up giving a free point all the same. Imposter Syndrome by Blitzer. A map with a surprisingly topical name always makes you think whether you're really fast enough. When you see how fast you can drive this map, when you're in the full flow state, where you're on the train server, and you're feeling good, and nothing is bothering you, you think to yourself, oh boy, I'm gonna win so hard. Then you kind of try to put a safe pace together. You start losing tenths of a second, 5, 6, 7, 8. You start wondering, can I really do this? What is wrong? I know how to drive this map fast, but what's the difficulty? That's precisely the beauty of it. If you release on this map and try to drive safe, you're not going to lose 2 tenths of a second, you're going to lose 5. If you make a single mistake on a slow speed flat map, you're going to lose 5 seconds, you're out of the round. The possibility of finding a safe pace on this map is reserved for the elite. For players like Dopamine, he can put together 6 rounds at 134.9, 135.0 pace. Basically, nobody else in this planet except the people in the Div 1 Grand Final and Small Final can. Hell, not even the Small Final, just the Grand Final. I'm not gonna put it to myself to make these kinds of consistent rounds. But a map that truly puts the fear of God in players. And so far, in this round, ARRO, they don't have enough points to score. They must mount an attack, and that's the problem. When you've given up a couple of these tenths of a second that are so easy to lose, gaining them back is an exercise in using the full width of the road, risking so much. I mean, look at Supersonic. If he'd put any more throttle, he would have been in a wall. Literally 1% more, the guy is gone. Nowhere to be found. But now he has to keep pushing because his team doesn't have the winning points. This is precisely the sort of mental pressure that makes you make mistakes. Morocco crumbles under it, and Engel continues driving the screw in because he is driving at an exquisite pace. And while ARRO, they are consistent as a team, Engel has kept them at bay single-handedly. And it will be an XOXO round, and the match begins to break in favor of XOXO. Dopamine, just too much of a presence. When you got this guy who's winning 7 rounds in a row, who's playing in a Division 2 small final, then you as ARRO need to have a good consistency. And to their credit, 23 team points, 20 team points. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Ahead of Enju, equal with Engel. But XOXO are the ones who can run the advantageous strategy. They are the ones who can afford to have Andrew relax, drive safe, collect any crashes that happen. They can afford it. The mental pressure on XOXO is much less than the mental pressure on ARRO. And they convert it into points. Gigason. Risk has been his undoing. He feels the need to push, but that push punishes him. Now Supersonic again. Consistent all day long, but now he also makes a mistake. And XOXO are going to get map point for free. And this is the big match mentality and competitive experience of Team XOXO coming up. But did I speak too soon? Dopamine fully out. Dopamine fully out. But the problem is that Engel and Andrew are holding on to point scoring positions, and Gigason's mistake was more severe. So what ends up happening is that this doesn't change anything. You would think that if Dopamine makes a severe mistake in a round, this has to be a round ARRO is capable of winning. But because Gigason made an early mistake, they're not even in a position to contest it. Because Supersonic made a mistake, now of all times, they're not in a position to punish a free point. And this is the difficulty. This is the things you only get with years of competitive experience as a team. This is the things that Andrew, Engel, Dopamine, they have it in spades. Vamos, that has it in spades. They know what they need to do at any given moment to win, and they give themselves the best winning chances by choosing their strategy wisely. And that ends up securing them around from the clutches of defeat. Morocco in first, but sadly it didn't come his way. Map point. Andrew in second place as the closer. And ARRO need to strike back now, or this match will be done sooner than later. It was completely even heading into map number 2, and it was even heading like halfway through the map. We had a 2-3, but now it is actually Team XOXO who have almost punched their winning ticket with how they've performed on this map. They took their tactics, and unfortunately ARRO didn't have the veterancy to fight back. Now they must find it. Backs against the wall in a difficult mental position, they must find the best consistency and pace they have so far, because they need points desperately. They must deny this map point once or twice, at least, to give themselves a winning chance heading into map number 4. Gigason and Supersonic so far, not doing the job. Engel is the clutch pin of XOXO. Engel the clutcher. His third place is keeping them safe. But Dopamine with a slide again, but Gigason responds with a slide, and no man, you cannot do that. He's gonna rue that mistake desperately, because this would have been a round in their favor. But Engel will give it to them again. And now Engel, with Engel behind Morocco, it was a small mistake. It was expertly controlled, but a mistake all the same. And that mistake cost him half a second. And Morocco is now in a position to punish. Morocco must now defend. He doesn't even realize it, but this third place is essential. This first place is essential. Dopamine is on the attack. I mean, how do you even defend against this as Supersonic? You have to defend against Dopamine to keep your team in this map? It's such a difficult challenge. Morocco not up to the task of defending himself against Engel. The sly old coot will Managed to snipe, and even Dopamine snipes at the end, and oh no. In the last lap, defeat in the end, and XOXO take a decisive advantage heading into the final map. And yeah, 7-2-2-7-7-2. Ay, ay, ay. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. ARRO actually still have the possibility to force a decider. They still have the possibility even to win the match. And the final, the map that will decide it all, Ace of Spades by Steaky. Possibly the hardest map in the entire map pack to drive safely and regularly. And now that the players are, I mean, they're already tired. They're already in a difficult position. Now they're faced with this challenge, and ARRO have to come up with 5-point catch-up at a minimum. ARRO have to win 7-2 to force a decider, 7-1 or 7-0 to win. What a challenge. Even 3 rounds for Team XOXO will finish the match and put them to 7th place in the SNC. It's been a good match, though, it needs to be said, so I'm hoping that the final map will be as explosive as the others were. Don't get confused by the scoreline. 7-2, 7-2, 7-2. It doesn't matter. These could have been hot to the wire, the way the players played, and we saw a great level in all respects. But that level will be put to the test. Ace of Spades, then. We see Dopamine heading into the end of the first lap. This is another free lapper. Very dangerous, very difficult. And you have to see what happens here. Lap number 2 begins. Simple banked right-hander, but you don't want to take the Ramstein on the outside. Stakey himself described this as a risk-reward map, and it really is. Flat 180 needs to be taken perfectly because you'll be touching the outside Ramstein. Another 180 where, again, if you take it at full speed, you're using the full width of the road and touching the outside Ramsteins. Dopamine almost sent home by one of them. Into a banked 180, into again a no drift where you, again, inside Ramstein, outside Ramstein, you are flirting with disaster at every single step. And the ultimate risk map in what has been a map pack full of them. Do not underestimate the stress that these players will be facing to try to put regular rounds together on a map like this. XOXO, I already said map 3 would be essential, because if they can secure an advantage there on the flat map, which is still challenging, but not as much as this one, they will face a decisive advantage now. And they will be able to take less risks. They will be able to, drive with a lot more confidence. So XOXO have given themselves an incredible winning opportunity, but they still have to finish it. They still have to finish it, and ARRO have come back once. It's not out of the question that they will come back again. Let's watch the final warm-up. Who will be the lineup of choice? Vamos, Andrew, Dopamine. Engel finally gets his well-deserved rest after being a force of nature for free maps, constantly being a thorn in ARRO's side. Whenever they thought they had a free point, Engel's consistency denied them time and time again. And although ARRO were his match on pace, he showed the full power of his competitive expertise. And XOXO, apart from Dopamine, they owe it to him. They owe it to him as well, their continued success. Vamos and Andrew also supporting very well, but those two for me, Dopamine and Engel, the driving force of Team XOXO. And what do ARRO have now? What are ARRO going to put together to try to find the answer to Dopamine? We've seen it before that you can punish the other players in Team XOXO. They've done it before. Who did they pick this time? It seems Miraco, Gigasan, and Spar or Supersonic will take Gigasan's spot, which is probably for the best. Gigasan, powerful player, very talented, but it wasn't his day today. And the risks that he took were oftentimes a little bit a little bit miscalculated relative to the situation. Just a lack of competitive experience that he will catch up to. And when he does, he's going to become all the better for it. So, Spar, we haven't seen him today. He will be joining in for his first map of the evening. Mirako, I believe. He's played all of them. I think he has. Or at the very least, he's also played 3 maps. So, question of fatigue now. Difficult map. He needs to win a lot of rounds, but he's played so much already. Can he possibly show up after an hour of high intensity, super high difficulty Nascar? Looking forward to see it. He's done great things for Team DGF. I won't put it past him that he can succeed here as well. Dopamine, Vamos, Andrew. Andrew today, the resolute tail gunner. We've talked about it before, because Dopamine is on the field. When Andrew is playing, he can take a more defensive role to try to snipe points from the back, and so far, the tactics are working flawlessly as his safety is punishing Team ARRO. Vamos and Andrew, very smart choice to play at a safe pace, because ARRO are the ones under pressure, because ARRO are the ones that need to put up 5 additional points. They can punish and stay safe and be under much less mental pressure. They're using that to their fullest. XOXO realized their winning condition on map number 3 and they utilized it fully. Lap number 2 comes to an end, still looking like an XOXO ace, but Dopamine has touched the wall. This map, very risky, even for the best players in the world. Mirako looking to deny the ace, looking to save some face, looking to show that he has the pace. Nice rhymes. Didn't help them much. He falls behind again. Vamos, Dopamine. Into the finish line they will go, and unless they make a mistake at the very end of it, this is going to be a decisive XOXO round, and the first of only 3 that they need to get 7th place. Moderate pace, to be sure, but a safe round. And I think that's the interesting thing to note, right? XOXO with only 3 points needed to win, and they just got 1 for free. They will be looking encouraged. Dopamine still leading them from the front, even though he made a big mistake. There was no ARRO player in position to punish. This happened on the last lap as well. Unfortunate. But fortune is not what matters in the SNC. It's raw player skill, and so far, XOXO have had the better of them. Not by much, but they have managed to take the points that mattered most. Close round, however, unfolding ahead of us, and ARRO must strike back immediately. They have no time. They have nowhere to run. Light at the end of the tunnel, fading and fast. Spar into the checkpoint. Andrew in position to punish. Tactics from XOXO in full display. Angled. What happens? Angle goes out. He used to hold 3rd place. Vamos slots right back in. A perfect team display for Team XOXO. But Dopamine has a bug. Dopamine has a bug, and now Mirako and Supersonic at the end of lap 2, they are pushing forward into the points paying positions. Problem is that Spar's mistake was severe, while Andrew safely 0.6 of a second behind. He's doing exactly what he needs. He might not be an individual star. He might not have shined in the amount of team points, but he gets the one that matters. Definitely worth being shouted out. ARRO need to fight to save this round in the dying throes. Mirako needs to make some snipe happen, and Supersonic needs to keep 1st place. Dopamine looking to deny him at the end of it all. Mirako looking to push against Vamos, but Vamos, he's seen this before. He's willing to defend himself. Flawless final corner from Vamos secures the round. He ain't giving up anything. And good God, man. XOXO. This is match point. Match point in what was a super close match all throughout. A match that was even heading into map 2, but XOXO, with Dopamine returning on map number 3, they found the tactic needed. Andrew from the back taking up the points, and Dopamine leading from the front with Vamos and Engel as the mid-road fighter. ARRO have not found the answer. And now they must win all remaining rounds to force a decider. If XOXO win even one more, they win the match. On we go, though. Nothing done quite yet. 18-11, the scoreline. 18-18, what it needs to be to force a decider. Lap number 2 ahead of us now. Ace of spades. ARRO need an ace from their pocket. Miraco is not the one. Spar ahead, but he crashed and has only 2 team points in 2 rounds. Now he is their light of hope. Can he possibly do it? Vamos again, 3rd place, keeping together the essential points paying positions, but now Supersonic ready to punish. Still everything to play for. Spar must keep it safe. Supersonic must keep it safe. Miraco must keep it safe. Only these positions will secure them the victory on such a risky map. Supersonic, he's been good all evening. Now he needs to maintain the level. Not be intimidated. He doesn't know it, but the team's fate hangs on him. Each and every ARRO player must finish where they are. Safely navigates the left-hander. Moving into the banked right. Does he have the ability? Just 1 corner separates them from denying the first match point for Team XOXO, and despite Dopamine, Miraco reaches the finish line, and they do deny that the first time of asking. 18-12. They need to win 6 consecutive rounds, ARRO do, to force a decider. They cannot outright win. XOXO need to convert 1 point only. ARRO to play spoiler. ARRO to deny. Do they have it? Do they have what it takes? Time to see. Spar, very well in the last round after the first 2, but he needs to keep it up. He is the one with a lot of pace on his team. Needs to keep it together. Miraco falling slightly further behind, but I don't think it was a severe mistake. He'll still be within striking distance, and Vamos will join him in the back, now also being overtaken. 5 players competitive, heading into lap number 2. Does anybody get eliminated at the start? Spar will not touch that checkpoint a second time, and so far, ARRO have the positions that they need. They need to maintain them. What a brutal defense to find yourself in. Ace of spades, a difficult map. XOXO, a difficult opponent. Dopamine winning almost every round, and you have to find a way to score around him. A brutal challenge, which they have not been able to answer for most of this evening. But sometimes, you see that glimmer of hope. The consistency between the 3 of them that gives them what they need to win. They're showing it now. Light at the end of the tunnel, still shining, still bright, still not extinguished. Vamos and Andrew not in a position to fight. ARRO need to maintain these positions. No stupid mistakes at the end, and they will deny a 2nd consecutive match point. They will give themselves, at the very least, some consolation points as well. Vamos on the attack, trying to put the pressure, trying to induce a mistake in the dying moments, but I have faith that ARRO will not give him that mistake. They will reach the finish line safely, all 3 of them. And the 2nd match point, denied again. Equalized on this map, 18-13. ARRO need to win 5 more to force a decider. Can they do it? Supersonic again, 2nd in team points. This guy has been a menace on the first 2 maps. 3rd map, perhaps not working so well in his favor. Actually, I'm sorry, I believe it was substituted for the 3rd map. My apologies. The action is beginning to take its toll even on the people watching. Now imagine how it's like for the people in the server right now. 3rd match point, Team XOXO. Do they have what it takes? The tactics have worked well in the first 2 rounds, but now that ARRO have struck back as a unit, their strategy foiled. And that's the way that you defeat this. If you have 3 players capable of the same pace, then this strategy with a leader and a tail gunner can be defeated. It's not invincible. But ARRO need to find that in them. Rage against the dying of the light. And keep themselves in it against all odds. And they do it. Andrew, releasing a little bit now. Let's only Vamos through. Critically, let's only Vamos through. But on Miraco, this is actually the decisive point. The decisive position. If Spar and Supersonic can keep their points, Spar has crashed. Spar has crashed and the match might be over with it. Hope fades. Supersonic and Miraco don't even realize what position they find themselves in, but Vamos, the linchpin, Andrew the tail gunner, are now closing in from all sides. XOXO blowing the kiss of death. And ARRO have no answer. They fade away. And with one corner to go, XOXO sealed the match at the third time of asking. They are 7th place in the SNC. The third point that they needed, the kiss of death delivered. And ARRO now fighting for pride. And they fought well. It needs to be said. This match was 9-9 heading into map number 2. But on the flat map, XOXO broke away. Gigasan didn't have the evening he needed to have. ARRO always had the pace, but the consistency was their undoing. Vamos, Engel, Dopamine, competitive veterans. Andrew, competitive veteran. They put their expertise, their tactics into full display, and that really helped push them to a win, even when they might have been outmatched in terms of pace, excepting Dopamine. They take the win, they take 7th. They'll be happy with that. 7th place, no mean feat in an SNC field this closely packed, when even a team like Bros is in Division 2, nothing to be ashamed of. And what a well-fought match it was. ARRO now looking for a couple of points to prove that the match was close, to really put the scoreline where it deserves to be for their efforts, but this one not looking in their favor after lap number 2. Dopamine surges into the lead. He will not be stopped today. They didn't have an answer to him. Not that anybody really expects a Division 2 team to, but all the same, it has been very, very difficult for them to keep up with such blistering pace. It forced them into taking risk. And that ended up costing them. The presence of only one player on the field can completely change an SNC match. This is a team game, the likes of which you've never seen in any other sport. Dopamine with a mistake. He might have actually given up the round. Did he? Not quite. Andrew just secure it ahead of Spar. XOXO take the 4th point on the trot. All good. Vamos to inherit the lead. He's done his job today admirably. Even on the 3rd map, you see it yourself. Vamos, he might not have the pace of Supersonic or Spar, but it doesn't matter because he's got 24 team points. Doing it all when called for. Mapper extraordinaire turned player extraordinaire. A great performance from him indeed. ARRO looking to put a couple of points on the board. They're leading this one. Need I remind you, ARRO got some aces today as well. They have the pace. They have the consistency. Can they put it together? Miraco, not at this time of asking. But Spar and Supersonic still in the fight. Supersonic no longer in the fight. Andrew and Vamos, I mean, when Andrew has just 2 team points fewer than Spar with 1.2 seconds lesser PB, you know that this guy did exactly what his team needed him to and what his team asked him to. No shame in that whatsoever. Critical job for his team done with gusto. Very, very good. And he's now even in 2nd place for his efforts. Well rewarded for his duties. A consummate team player. Formerly of Team Rising Hawks, I believe. RH. And now with XOXO for this cup. And contributing hugely to what is going to be an XOXO ace. To further push their lead and to prove that they were the deserving winners today. And the deck was always stacked against ARRO on this map, to be fair. Especially coming down. This is what I said about the 3rd map, that's where it would be decided. Because on this one, Dopamine has Deddy 1. And with him on the field, ARRO would need a superlative team performance to defeat XOXO. And when they had several points of a deficit heading into map number 4, that just became mentally impossible. This round, however, should fall in their favor as Dopamine actually respawns, gliding straight into a wall and out of the map, and Vamos and Andrew are going to try to add insult to injury by taking the point away anyway. We'll see who prevails. 5 players within 0.4 of a second, close round contested still. They continue pushing. They are not out of it yet. ARRO defending, but Vamos in striking distance, keeping that second place. Andrew in striking distance as well. Never say never. Miraco in the wall. Andrew takes that place with ease, doing exactly what he needs to be doing. Just prowling. He's always at the back, always close enough to punish you, but never so fast as to have to risk. He's really done a good job, in my opinion, for his team. ARRO victory on the cards anyway, as Spar has kept Vamos at bay. Supersonic with a minor mistake, not to be punished too heavily. Vamos pushing him to the end, but Spar will defend, Supersonic will defend, and ARRO take a consolation round. With Dopamine, for once, finishing in last. There, even that can happen. The wonder of the SNC. Bit of hydration necessary to keep up with a match like this. God. 5-3 on the final map. The match already decided for XOXO, but ARRO want to put up a solid performance to prove that tonight they were worthy adversaries. That XOXO might have struggled with much more if it weren't for Dopamine pulling them ahead. Never to be underestimated. A lot of guest players, some of them even SNC debutants, and they've done very well to finish 8th overall. Sorry, ARRO will be 8th. XOXO will be 7th, and now it seems that it was Spar or Miraco that made a big mistake. XOXO looking to get to map point, looking to go home, looking to reflect on what was a super successful SNC for them, taking the 3rd place in Division 2, and looking maybe for some rewards for a Mavic, or maybe some rewards in the... yeah. Some rewards in the lottery, which will also be contested at the end of the SNC for the teams that did not participate in the cash prize directly. Lap number 3, Vamos and Andrew again, punishing every mistake effortlessly, navigating this map with an expert touch. Difficult map, not a problem for them whatsoever. And they're looking to put another XOXO ace on the board. They will do so with gusto. XOXO looking to ace their way into map point. And more round to go. We shall see what we have to offer. Can ARRO deny the point at this time of asking? They will look to get some more points on the board, look to cap off a successful match. They can definitely do it, and right now they've got the players in the positions that they need. But Spar, it's been difficult for him, subbing in at the very end to try to give them their last breath, but didn't end up working out for them as well as they would have hoped for. Spar really punished by this map's difficulty. He has the pace, consistency not necessarily been his forte. Supersonic, however, and Miraco still with everything to play for, chased by Vamos and Andrew as usual. The two guys, I feel like they've driven at the same pace for almost 10 rounds at this point. It feels like they can do no wrong. They might not be super fast, but they're doing what they need to. Supersonic and Miraco now to contest. They're looking for a Dopamine mistake behind, because neither Andrew nor Vamos will give one to put Spar back into the match. And, I mean, they're putting the fucking... sorry, family-friendly stream. They're putting the pressure on Dopamine. They really are trying to put the heat to him, and it's only 1/10 of a second. Supersonic looking to risk in the dying moments. Is it possible for something to happen? Dopamine pulls ahead. I don't think it's very likely. He would have to make a mistake at the end. He would have to get a bug. Miraco, Supersonic, admirable pursuit, valiant until the end. And I think this is the end. as Vamos and Andrew finalize it. And ladies and gentlemen, the Division 2 small final has concluded. A tough and great battle. Let me just make sure I counted up the points. And that'll be it. I think it is 23-14, the final score with a 7-3. XOXO with a strong victory, but ultimately taking down their opponents tactically. XOXO did, for what was actually a super tight match. I'm very happy that I got the chance to cast it. I'm very happy that I got the chance to look at it. So, very deserving match for 7th and 8th place. That'll be the end of it. I have nothing more to show you on this evening. That'll be the final cast of the tournament for me as well this year, taking a bit of a step back for Stakey and Rima, who you will be joining now. As thank you all for watching this as well as the grand final. I am honored that you chose to stay here, and I hope that I managed to do justice to this incredible match and to all of the players that were involved in it. Thank you for your patronage. I will be sending you to Rema shortly. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure and an honor. See you.